Everyone's talking about Kathleen Kennedy leaving Lucasfilm. I'm going to give my 2 cents. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, let's talk about Kathleen Kennedy. Before we do, give me that thumbs up if you can. And if you can't subscribe to the channel, please do. I just got back from Gamma, where we were talking about board games. Because, I have a couple board games. I did this with Mark Spears, who does a lot of Marvel and DC artwork for covers. And yeah, I had some interest there, and for Destiny Aurora, which is my other game as well. So exciting stuff. Plus, we're in our last, by now it's probably 30 hours for the Green Hornet anthology for the 90th anniversary. We are fully funded. We just locked our second stretch goal. We're only 2,500 from releasing the third, which is a new additional story by Timothy Zahn. Wow, it's going to be amazing. Right now we have Timothy Zahn, Kevin J. Anderson, just a pile of different artists, Bill Willingham, cover art by Matt Wagner. Now we have a new cover by Dennis Calero. He's going to do interior art as well because it's like chapter art. It's going to be amazing. Jump into that right now if you can, because we're in our last hour, so this is the time. Either go to greenhornetnoir.com or check out the link in the description below and jump into that right now. And speaking of Star Wars, I'm just kidding. Here's my newest addition to my collection. I thought this was by Hot Toys, but it's not. It's by X06, I think it is. So this is the Kirstie Alley Savick. I think the face is pretty good. I did an unboxing, but for some reason the audio didn't work on the stream. I don't know. It's working fine now, so I don't know what the problem is. I didn't even change anything. But yeah, I don't understand the base. It just has the copyright on the base, but it looks like this is supposed to hold a thing, but it came with both jackets. But I like the regular one jacket. I like the hard collar and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, I know we went from Star Wars to Star Trek. But let's talk about Kathleen Kennedy, okay? Because the whole internet right now is ablaze with Kathleen Kennedy and what she's saying and what she's not saying, and how do you interpret what she's saying, because everybody wants to interpret it in the way that she's leaving. But we've been saying that she's leaving Lucasfilm for 3 years. I think it's at least 3 years we've been saying she's leaving. And it's been hopeful, because we know she's the problem. In essence, she is the problem with the direction of Lucasfilm, as she is the head of Lucasfilm. So everything, the buck stops here type of situation, where she is making all of the decisions. She is hiring all the creatives, and we've heard several times, even from Daisy Ridley, that the creatives are given notes by Kathleen Kennedy about the direction of what the film is, even last minute. And she was the one that hired Hedlund to do The Acolyte, and we all know how that went. That was the straw that broke the camel's third back. I don't know how that camel is humpless by the time all the straws that are breaking its back. She is just an awful executive. She even said in her latest interview that this was the first time that she was an executive, and that's the reason why. I mean, if it wasn't for Lucas giving her that position, she would never have been an executive. This position was over and above the standards of her ability. She should never have been in this position. And for some reason, when she got that position, she put that seatbelt on and she just kept going and going and going. Now, this is the first time that the mainstream media has said that she is retiring. How true that is, I don't know. Because then in the interview, she did say that she would be making movies until the day she dies. So, but who's going to see him? So some people are interpreting that as she will be staying with Lucasfilm until she's on her deathbed on an oxygen, respirator, still giving orders. Other people have said that she is retiring this year at the end of the year, and she'll just be making additional films outside of Lucasfilm and still kind of grooming people on the inside or being a consultant. I don't know. But I don't have any, even if she does leave, let's say she leaves this year. And this might be the case because I think Bob Iger is looking to retire as well. And he knows that he has to reset Disney in general and all its additional ancillary properties. So I don't know what he's doing because even Feige said he was going to, step down in the next couple of years. And I think that is because Bob Iger is like prepping everything here to do a reboot where somebody's going to take over for him, and then he'd have Marvel and Star Wars or Lucasfilm with two new heads as well. So it'd be like almost a complete reboot over the next couple of years. And truthfully, that's what it needs. It needs a complete reboot. The problem is that Kathleen Kennedy is such a control freak that she's not going to let Lucasfilm just be given to anyone that Bob Iger wants. She's going to be involved in whoever is her replacement. And all the people on the table that are involved now are not people that I would want to see continuing with Star Wars. None of them. Obviously, Leslie Headland's in there. God, if she did... I can't see Bob Iger agreeing with that because The Acolyte was such a trash fire. So I don't think she's even on the table. The next thing would be Filoni. If he gets in there, it's another trash fire. He cannot run. He does not have the ability to be a businessman. All he knows how to do is rehash. He is an animation guy. He's good when he has a group of writers, like a writer's room for animation. He's okay there because I did like Clone Wars and I liked Rebels, but he does not know how to do anything in live action. The Ahsoka show was so god awful, and anybody who's watched my channel knows this. I'm a huge Ahsoka fan, and I was so looking forward to Ahsoka, and he did such a poor job with it. I mean, an abhorrent job that I actually canceled Disney Plus over it. I canceled my whole subscription. I did not want to see anything else Star Wars after I was so hyped about seeing Rosario Dawson bring that character to life. The costumes were horrible. The plot was horrible. Thrawn was horrible. Sabine was horrible. Everything about that show is horrible. I mean, he had Rosario Dawson acting like this. I'm acting as Ahsoka. I'm acting as Ahsoka. That was her entire acting ability. And then on top of that, he did not push the envelope with having her being replaced by a stunt performer. It's just sad. Her ability to do action and wield a lightsaber is a joke. It was just a joke. Anakin He was so obviously trained so amazingly for the movies, and he held that, Hayden Christensen, where it was obvious that he was slowing down to accommodate her in some of those scenes. It was just horrendous. So the acting was horrendous, the costumes were horrendous, everything about, and there's nothing that anybody can say that show was good. Everything was poor. He does not know how to do live action, and if they have him take over live action, I mean, the Mandalorian and Grogu, I heard he was going to be taking the original Clone Wars movie that was in the theater with Stinky the Hutt or whatever the frig it is, and he's trying to bring that to live action. It's going to be trash. It is going to be complete trash. And get ready for another Lucasfilm loss. They just don't know what the hell they're doing anymore. So if Filoni takes over, it's not going to be any better than it is right now. And then everybody talks about Favreau. I really did believe in Favreau. Especially at the beginning of Mandalorian, because I really like the first two seasons of Mandalorian. But he's got his name on the third season, to the point where it even has him as writer. And everybody knows that the third season was trash. So I don't really believe in him either. And somebody else was bringing up Whitmer or whatever. He played in one of the Star Wars video games. He's an actor. I have met him, and he was also he played a villain in Supergirl as well. He's got that very chiseled look, and he was a huge and supposedly he's a writer. I don't think I've ever seen anything that he's written. But on a film or even a short side or a TV show, I don't think I've ever seen anything that he's written. But supposedly he's a big Star Wars fan. But I mean, just because you're an actor doesn't mean you can, be a producer. And that's the other difference between and Kathleen Kennedy is that she was a producer. She was never an executive producer. And that's the difference. I mean, for you to be able to lead a studio as opposed to leading a crew, and producers don't even lead a crew. The line producer leads a crew. That's what I do. I run the set. The producer is the one that's, works with the line producer, the first AD, all the rest of that stuff, setting everything up, but doesn't really run the set. It's all the producer's work is all in pre-pro. But anyway, so I do not have high hopes for Star Wars in any sense of the word. So I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Do you think that she is going to retire this year? Is she just going to go on until she's on a respirator? Because she's 72 now. She goes another 10 years, she'll be 82. I guess I don't know. Whatever. Does anybody really care anymore? Does anybody really care? I mean, it would take a miracle to save Star Wars right now. In fact, I forgot what I was watching. One of the other podcasters was saying that toy sales for Star Wars were the biggest when there was no Star Wars movie. So they would have made more money never releasing anything. And just keeping up with the toy sales than they did with putting out the sequels and all these really crappy Disney Plus shows. I don't know. But I am of that apathetic sense where, I mean, I didn't even finish Andor Season 1, so I'm not really looking forward to Andor Season 2. I thought it was boring. I did watch Skeleton Crew, and I did enjoy it. But for me, Skeleton Crew wasn't really Star Wars. You could have stuck any sci-fi. You could have stuck Guardians of the Galaxy on there. It wouldn't have mattered. You just take out the fact that what's-his-face is a Jedi, which really did it. You could have just made him telepathic and not use the lightsaber. That would have been exactly the same story, exactly the same. And instead of pirates, they were Ravagers. You could have slapped anything you wanted on there, but nobody watched that. And even Adam Does Movies said the same thing that at MegaCon, because I was there too, and all the kids were there signing autographs for Skeleton Crew, and nobody was there. There was no lines whatsoever. Nobody cared. So nobody watched that. Nobody's going to watch the second season of Andor, which is another $200 million or whatever they spent. Down the drain, man. It's all trash. So let me know what you guys think. Are you kind of in the same boat where you're just apathetic? Yeah, you can't destroy it any more than you've already destroyed it. So Kathleen Kennedy, just stick around as long as you want. I want to see you at 100 years old still doing TV shows for Star Wars and seeing them fail. And like I said, any movie that she does is going to fail too. Once they do one and it fails, that Rey movie's gone. If Mandalorian and Grogu fails, then there's no Rey movie. There is no Rey movie. All right. Well, thanks again for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know again what you guys think and what you think the future of Star Wars is, or do you even care? And remember to give me that like, give me that subscribe if you can. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Get notified of some of the other videos I got coming up. I also do comic reviews throughout the week as well. And also, last hours for Green Hornet Noir, Detroit Noir City it's called. And it's the 90th anniversary anthology with Timothy Zahn, Kevin J. Anderson, and more. You're going to love it. Go to greenhornetnoir.com or click the link in the description below. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Have a great week.